at any time, and without objection, the chair is authorized to postpone further proceedings when a recorded vote is ordered. I'd like very much to welcome all of you, new and old members. I look forward to an exciting year. I always say that Science, Space, and Technology Committee is a committee of the future. The things that we examine on this committee will help determine the fate of our nation. There are a number of issues which are profoundly important for the future of our country that this committee will look into during this 117th Congress. Our capacity for innovation and its effect of the nation's competitiveness in a global economy is one such area. Understanding and addressing the threat of climate change will also be a top priority of mine in this country as I sit here in this below freezing weather in Dallas, Texas, for now about a week, on and off with power. So finally, continuing to examine the COVID pandemic and its impacts on our research community will also be a top priority this year. It is my sincere hope that the committee addresses the very important issues before us. We will be able to do so in a bipartisan manner as much as possible. Every bill this committee marked up last Congress had bipartisan support. More often than not, we voice voted these votes out of committee. That took sacrifice for all of us. Democrats had to make sacrifices, and the ranking member and his Republican colleagues had to make sacrifices. That's what the democracy is. Nobody likes making sacrifices, but at the end result, the process was extremely productive for this Congress, for this past Congress, and I hope we can have somewhat of a repeat. Over 40 bills we were referred to the committee were enacted last Congress. Most of these bills were led by the Science Committee. Now, the unusual circumstances of the COVID pandemic led to some modifications to the operations of the committee, as was the case across the House. However, both our members and our staff were able to adapt to the remote work environment, and our committee had a very productive Congress. I'm confident that we will continue to be equally as productive in the 117th Congress, whatever our circumstances that we find ourselves in. And finally, I'd like to note that today we take up a rule package that remains largely unchanged from last Congress. Most of the changes were dictated by the rules, House rules changes. I think our committee worked well last Congress under the committee's rules, and it is my hope that we can continue that record in this Congress. I now recognize our ranking member, Mr. Lucas, whom I welcome and delighted to see his face, to make his opening statement.
Thank you, Chairwoman Johnson. Thank you, Chairwoman Johnson. It's a privilege to once again serve as the ranking member of the Science, Space, and Technology Committee, and to have the privilege of serving with you under your leadership as chairman. Last Congress, we were able to accomplish some truly incredible things. The bipartisan legislation we got signed into law helped to improve STEM education, forecast weather space, protect research from foreign theft, and modernize our energy policy with the first comprehensive update in more than a decade. That's a testament to the value of working together on our shared priorities. I see many more opportunities for us to work to continue doing so in the 117th Congress. Investing in American science and technology has never been more important than it is right now. We're continuing to fight a global pandemic that is causing untold grief and economic devastation. And our research and development is under attack by foreign adversaries like the Chinese Communist Party. These are grave challenges, but I'm optimistic not just that we'll rise to meet them, but that we'll continue to strive as the world's leader in scientific and technology progress. I'm excited to get to work in this Congress. I believe one of our first tasks should be investing in our research industry to restart all the work that's been disrupted by COVID. We first identified this as a critical issue last June. So I'm disappointed that none of the COVID packages, and I stress none of the COVID packages, relief packages, have included support for American research. I'd also like to continue our work in strengthening STEM education and build a strong and diverse STEM workforce. Chairwoman Johnson, I appreciate that we share this priority and that our first two bills this Congress were bipartisan STEM bills, the Rural STEM Education Research Act and the STEM Opportunities Act. Another important priority will be maintaining our leadership in space exploration. As we watch what will hopefully be a safe landing of the Mars Perseverance rover this afternoon, we're reminded of the tremendous things our space program can accomplish. Returning humans to the moon, sending astronauts to Mars will require us to provide steadfast and consistent support for our missions. I'm looking forward to working on that and continuing to encourage a thriving commercial space sector. I also strongly believe that we need to make a robust investment in the single biggest driver of scientific progress in America, basic research. I'll once again be introducing the Securing American Leadership in Science and Technology Act this Congress, which will double funding for basic research and investment in the infrastructure needed to maintain world-class scientific facilities. This investment is critical to meeting a number of priorities, like keeping Americans at the forefront of technological progress, developing industries of the future like AI and quantum information sciences, and producing cleaner, more affordable energy. I'm eager to get started on this important work, and I look forward to working with all of you to support American science. And with that, Madam Chair, I yield back.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Lucas. We'll move now to the consideration of the rules package. And so pursuant to the notice, the committee will put that before us, and the clerk will begin to review the rules package with us.
Rules of the Committee on Science, Space, and Technology, U.S. House of Representatives for the 117th Congress. Contents. Rule 1, General. A, Application of Rules.
Without objection, the Rules Committee will be considered as read and open for amendment at any point. And without objection so ordered, I believe that everyone has received the rules. Any questions? Any amendments? If not, then I move that the committee adopt the rules of the Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. All opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the rules are adopted. Now, I'd like to have our members introduce themselves. I'm not quite sure who all is present, but let me ask the clerk to assist us if there are glitches. Let's start. Well, first of all, let's recognize our new members, and then we'll recognize our returning members. Can the clerk call the names? Well, I'm not sure who's present.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
This is Gwen Moore from Wisconsin. I'll volunteer since I'm a new temporary member. When I found out that I was going to have the opportunity to serve on this committee, I was very excited to work with you and, of course, the ranking member who has really demonstrated over time his bipartisan nature and his just skill at legislating and being able to really to serve on the science committee, work with so many people that I've worked with before. It's just so exciting. I'm so grateful, glad to be here. And I yield back.
Well,
my name is Gwen Moore. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Delighted to have you.
And Madam Chair, I'm worried about you. I texted you to see if you were okay, and I was worried when you didn't answer. So I see that you're fine.
I'm okay, but I have had power outage, and my computer is frozen right now, so I'm on my iPad. But we're making it. This is the first time we've had this type of weather in a very long time. Now we get it, but it lasts 10 or 15 or sometimes as long as an hour with snow. But this time it has lasted a week, and I learned for sure that I have an all electric home. So even my microwave was not working. Um, but we're making it. I have two grandsons that live in the area, and they've made sure that I didn't need to get out and go anyplace. But it's a different world for us in Texas, and so but we're adjusting. It has been quite trying. Let me see. Are there
Madam
any other
Chair,
new members?
Madam Chair, Ms. Stevens has her hand raised.
Okay, I'm sorry, I can't see that, so be sure to remind me.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Stevens, you're recognized.
Well, thank you. And I had my hand raised because I was in attendee mode. And so I couldn't turn the video on and I couldn't turn the sound on or to talk, but we got that figured out. But I'm actually happy to address the full committee, Madam Chair. It has been absolutely tremendous to have worked with you and under your leadership in the 116th Congress. It is a deep and high honor to be serving as the vice chair of this committee under your leadership. We're going to have to get you out of Dallas, and it's you got the storm there, and I can't promise you better weather up in Michigan because we do have a lot of snow, but we have heat. We have heat. But the reason I got to get you up here is because I'm talking about you so much that the district is clamoring for you. And I'm telling everyone, I'm working with Chairwoman Johnson on the Science Committee. And this committee is why I ran for Congress. And it continues to deliver over and over again. So we're so glad to see Ranking Member Lucas back in his position, colleagues like Congressman Gonzalez, who we've introduced a lot of great bills with. And it's exactly what you said last session, which is that we get things done on this committee and we are the committee of the future. And so you're absolutely right. We're going to continue to focus on our innovation capabilities and what we're working on with STEM. We're so delighted to welcome the new members. We got Susan Wild from Pennsylvania and Deborah Ross from North Carolina and on. We just heard from the fabulous Gwen Moore. Guys, we are going to really address a lot of what this country needs. So thank you so much. I'm glad I had the hand raised. It was sort of for a different purpose. But I've been thinking about you, Chair Johnson, in Dallas, and anything you need, we're here to help. All right.
Well, thank you very much. I know that the ranking member, Mr. Lucas, is not far away from where I am, so he's probably dealing with some of the same type of weather. It's a little bit different when we have this kind of weather this long in this part of the country. But we're adjusting. I've had internet on and off. I've had power, complete power on and off. But we're making it. I hope to get to Washington if anything is flying. Most of our airports are closed to get out and get up there for next week. So thank you very much. Now I will say, I'll ask the ranking member to introduce the new members when we get to that point. But I'll go ahead now and talk about some of the changes of our subcommittee chairs. Ms. Stevens, Ms. Sherrill, and Mr. Foster will be returning as Research and Technology, Environment, and Investigations and Oversight Subcommittee chairs. Respectfully, Mr. Bowman will be taken over as chair of the Energy Subcommittee, and Mr. Byer will be taking over the Space and Aeronautics Subcommittee. And I think that we can look forward to great leadership in this coming Congress. Our first new members is Mr. Jamal Bowman, or Congressman Bowman, who represents New York's 16th District, which includes parts of the Bronx, Westchester County, and New York City suburbs. Mr. Bowman is a former elementary school teacher and principal, renowned for the care and attention he gave his students, and I look forward to his perspective on STEM, clean energy, and climate change, as well as social justice. As I mentioned, he will also be serving as chair of the Energy Subcommittee, and we welcome his talent and interest there. Ms. Deborah Ross is also a new member of Congress. Congresswoman Ross represents North Carolina's 2nd District, which includes Raleigh and Research Triangle. Ms. Ross is a former civil rights lawyer and a lecturing fellow at Duke University. She's also had experience in transportation and renewable energy issues. I want to say to Ms. Ross that your experience will be invaluable on the committee, and I look forward to working with you. We have some members who are not new to Congress, but are new to the committee. You have Congressman Donald Norcross, represent New Jersey's 1st District, is new to the committee this Congress. He's a former electrician and proud union member, serves as chairman of the Tactical Air and Land Forces Subcommittee on the Armed Services Committee. And I'm told that he is a lifelong space enthusiast, so he must be pretty excited at this moment. Mr. Norcross, welcome to the Science, Space, and Technology Committee. We have heard from my very good friend Gwen Moore, who represents Wisconsin's 4th District. Like Mr. Norcross, she is new to our committee, but in her 9th Congress. She's a former community leader who has made it her mission to give voice to the voiceless. We want to welcome her again. Also new to the committee is Congressman Dan Kildee, representing Michigan's 5th District. He is a former local politician and nonprofit CEO. I understand that he wants to work on investing in R&D and clean water issues. We are delighted to have you join us. Welcome. And finally, we have Ms. Susan Weil, who represents Pennsylvania's 7th District. Ms. Weil is a former lawyer and city solicitor who is working for technology toward economy that benefits everyone, including manufacturers, manufacturing workers, and small businesses. This is our 2nd Congress, and we're so delighted to have her join us. Now I'll recognize our ranking member to introduce his new members, Mr. Lucas.
Thank you, Chairwoman Johnson, and I'm proud to welcome back our returning members and to introduce our new Republicans on our committees. First, I'll start with our subcommittee leadership, our ranking members, and they are very passionate about their jurisdictions and eager to get to work. Congressman Randy Weber of Texas will again lead the Energy Subcommittee. Congressman Michael Waltz of Florida will be leading the subcommittee on Research and Technology. Congressman Brian Babin will be returning to his post as ranking member on the Space and Aeronautics Subcommittee. And Congresswoman Stephanie Bice, a freshman and fellow Oklahoman, will be at the helm of our Environment Subcommittee. And on that note, Representative Bice graduated from Oklahoma State University, quickly established herself as a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, running strategy and financial oversight and marketing for her family's technology company, and later starting her own marketing firm. She's a 4th-generation Oklahoman and the first Iranian American to be elected to Congress. She understands the critical role of technology must play in maintaining a strong economy and healthy environment, and I'm looking forward to her leadership. Another freshman, Congressman Jay Overnolte of California, will be our ranking member on investigations and oversight. Representative Overnolte earned a degree in engineering and applied science at Caltech. He then attended UCLA for a Master of Science degree. Congressman Overnolte is a businessman and entrepreneur with years of experience in video game development, as well as a commercial airline pilot, and is a former mayor and California State Assemblyman. With his background in business and technology, I think the representative is uniquely qualified to provide the oversight needed for our research and development work. And we have a number of other great freshmen joining our committee too, and I'd like to introduce them briefly. Congresswoman Young Kim of California attended the University of Southern California, worked as a financial analyst, founded a business in the clothing industry, served as a California State Assemblywoman from 2014 to 2016. And she and her husband are active nonprofit administrators and philanthropists. Congressman Randy my friend from Iowa earned a Master of Public Administration degree from Iowa State University and later joined the faculty of Dordt University. He is undergraduate alma mater. He's a businessman with experience in finance, science, management, and before being elected to Congress, he served in the Iowa State Senate for 11 years. So congratulations on joining us, Congressman Farina. Congressman Jake LaTurner served as both the Kansas State Treasurer and state senator prior to his election to Congress. He attended Pittsburgh State University and at the age of 24 became the youngest ever member of the Kansas State Senate. And then Congressman Carlos Hemensee of Florida immigrated with his family from Cuba in 1960 and received a degree in public administration from Barry University. He served as a City of Miami firefighter for 25 years, and the last 9 as chief of the department. Prior to his congressional election, he also served as mayor of Miami-Dade County. Lastly, Congress Peter Meyer joins us from Michigan. He earned his Master's of Business Administration degree from New York University Stern School of Business. As a member of the United States Army Reserve, he served a tour in Iraq. He has led humanitarian efforts at home and abroad as a member of the veteran-based disaster response organization Rubicon, and is an experienced real estate and urban development entrepreneur. As you can see, we have a strong freshman class. I'd also like to welcome our returning members, Representatives Mo Brooks, Bill Posey, Anthony Gonzalez, Jim Baird, and Mike Garcia. And I have to take a special note, since the beloved chairwoman is from Texas, to note that I'm pleased to see one of her fellow Texans showing a great deal of common sense when he decided to rejoin our committee after being away for some time. Pete Sessions, and I look forward to his membership on the committee. And I'd also like to welcome back Daniel Webster, who served his constituents in Central Florida for 10 years and is bringing a background in engineering and infrastructure to our committee. We have a solid group of Republican members, and I'm looking forward to working together to keep America at the cutting edge of scientific and technological advancement. With that, Madam Chair, I yield back.
Well, thank you, Mr. Lucas, and welcome to all of our new and returning members. I look forward to working with all of you. That really concludes our business for today. I will say that tomorrow we will have our first hearing. And of course, because of the science of COVID-19 vaccines and encouraging vaccines uptake, we have asked Dr. Kathleen Newsel, who is an MD, MPH from University of Maryland School of Medicine, Dr. Philip Wong, who is the MD, MPH here in Dallas with the county. He is the health authority for the county of Dallas. And Dr. Allison Budenheim, a PhD and MDA, scientific director for the Center of Health Incentives and Behavioral Economics and associate professor of nursing and health policy at the University of Pennsylvania School of Nursing. So we look forward to having all of you tomorrow. We know that we will have an exciting and busy year, and we thank all of you for being here. It took us a little while to organize, but we welcome all of our old and not old, but returning members and new members to the committee. I must say that we had lots of success the last Congress. Many of our bills did not get through the Senate, and so you will probably see many of them very early in this Congress to see if we can have a little bit more success in the Senate. But we did well, and I want to thank all of you who participated, and I want to thank all of you who are coming to help us be even more successful this Congress. With that, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Madam Chair.